We're going to pick up another Eagle up in North Carolina. So we pulled all of the wheels. This has got good tires on it, except for one. We're gonna have new steers put on it. But we're taking all these tires up there to swap on the bus so it can drive home. This is the one that's got the bad. This brake was 100% inoperable. The whole time that we were working on it, just spinning the wheel, the parking brake was on. It's just 100% out of adjustment. Somebody turned the slack adjuster the wrong way. And look at the torch elastic there coming apart. It's already had some welding done on it. Needs a little bit more. And we've got the wheels off on the other side too. So the bus is 100% on blocks right now. With all the wheels off of it. We stole an air compressor off of here too, because the other Eagle has a bad air compressor on it. So we're just taking a couple spare parts with us. It hasn't been on the road in years, so we're gonna get it going and bring it home. This is some NASCAR shit right here. I think you're good.
Half inch, Wesley. The ain't going up.
So our spare tire only has 10 pounds of air on it, and our gas-powered air compressor has no gas in it. So we're using the tire chuck from one of the 8 wheels that we have for the bus in here to fill air into here. It's going up, right?
Yeah,
It's working. So we're getting close to 60. We're at 60 right now.
How much do you think we need?
Let's go ahead and try it. I mean, we don't need to do more than we have to. Is that tire gauge? Wes, can you hand me that tire gauge, please? It's 4:10 in the morning, and we've been driving all night long. We still got 100 miles to go on some, not highway, right? We'll eventually get there. It's 6:22 in the morning, just about sunup. We just got here. The bus is over there. But we're gonna get some sleep. So here's the bus. It's about 11 o'clock, not quite, 10:30. So we got a few hours sleep. Warmed up a little bit. It was in the 40s when we got here. And this looks pretty solid. Ugh. Yeah, that's good. There's no floor because you can see everything pretty well. It's really wet and squishy around here. I don't know how well this bus is going to drive out of here. Did you see that? I stepped in it. Look at my shoe.
I think he's
free blood you got.
Yeah, I almost biffed. My shoes all muddy already.
I think it's in gear.
I only moved it. I didn't move it forward and backwards though.
Go all around the back of this motion and go fire
All in there.
We're adding coolant. This is gallon number 7. Technically, we're adding water. Everything under here is really clean. He's gone through and for an Eagle, I mean, this is really rust free. You're not going to find anything like this. But we're investigating air leaks that we're working on, and this fitting right here is cracked. So it's on the leak. Just need to get that solved. And we're adjusting the brakes right now, but these screws that hold on the drums are sticking out really far and not allowing it to, the rim to push it on all the way. So we gotta tighten those up. I didn't bring that tool with me, didn't expect it, so. Again, for an Eagle, this thing is amazing. You never see this on an Eagle. Should be on the road by tomorrow. So that's what they're supposed to look like. And that's how those two came out with no threads on them. That were the ones that got sandwiched in where they weren't in all the way. So they were sticking out higher than the brake drum. So when the wheels got put on last time and torqued, the brake drum wasn't all the way against the hub. So this is, the wheels were actually torquing against these instead of the hub. So very unsafe condition. So here's another big air leak. Leaking right on the air compressor here. See if we can figure out what's going on. Go ahead and add air to it again real quick.
What's that?
Add some air. For about 5 seconds maybe. Okay, go ahead and turn it off.
Good.
Getting it done. Fixed a couple big air leaks on it. Going through and adjusting the brakes, put new wheels on it. Finishing the torquing of the wheels. That was good.
Surface tension. Man, I can tight. Back to you, back to you.
She doesn't even have a kitchen access now.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott.
Yeah.
Did you want to look? Block.
You guys put any screws in yet?
Nope.
Oh, just
Right, I'm gonna do that to it. That's a bar.
So morning 2, and all the wheels are on it, all the brakes are adjusted. When we got here, we brought an extra air compressor because they told us it had a bad compressor, but we turned out we just fixed a couple really bad air leaks, and now it builds air just fine. We're doing an oil change, which looks like somebody tried to jack it up with a oil pan or something. It's not a good thing down there, but he's getting it. We just changed the gearbox oil here, the miter box oil. Check the differential, it is full. All the wheel hubs have been repacked. The flooring is going in. He's screwing it down right now. We didn't want to slide around. Trying to think what else we got going on here. We should be on the road in a couple of hours. We got to get the air filter assembly put back in. We had to add a throttle return spring. It wasn't returning back down good after you throttled up. Here's the inside. We got to do a couple things on the steering column. We've got the the high-low for the 10-speed transmission. And the transmission, the gearbox, the shift pattern is reversed. So it's like from a semi-truck flipped around backwards. So first is all the way over on the right opposite corner. So it's going to be fun to get used to driving that. It's 10-speed. When you strip out the drain plug, just weld a big nut to it. What is that, 1 1/8?
Yeah.
How many
We
people,
cannot twist it anymore.
how many people does it take to put in an air filter?
I mean, it's about,
Right now we're at 3.
What don't make no damn sense?
Now, because we're pointing out the door here.
Unless is this. Well, if we take this boot all the way off, will it slide on there and then
it might be because you're not going to be able to get the strap on.
yeah, because it looks like
We are not using the strap on there.
it looks like this might be cut.
propane tank.
So we're missing the end cap to this, but we found this propane tank
So
lid.
what's really cool is that up there.
It looks like we can make a latch like you
No,
said.
they will.
There's a latch missing here.
No, that's the.
No, that's a
the
latch
hinge.
that's missing.
So there's a latch missing here, and there's a latch missing here, and
There's one here.
they line up.
Okay.
So if we can get the latch piece on there where it belongs.
Look, it says Eagle on it. No. No. Okay.
So we're just getting ready to get things to go here, and we don't have the title. he has his original title from 10 years ago when he bought it, but he never transferred it. And he tried to get a title for it back then, and they said the VIN number didn't match. This was in 1965, I think it was Eagle, but in 1989 it was a factory reconversion. The factory, it went back to the factory, and the factory rebuilt it. And there is no VIN number that we found in any of the normal places on it. The original 1965 VIN number is on it, which is just a 4-digit code, being like 65 for the year it was made, and this was the like 35th one, so 6535 I think is the number that's on it. But so we're heading to the BMV right now. He's got some other paperwork. He's trying to get the title so that we can have registration and everything to legally hit the road here in just a few minutes. So all that kind of snag, we get everything ready to go and then don't have the title. That sucks. So here's a pop rivet,
Blind rivet.
and
Pop,
then,
yeah.
and then it has a center core that you can push into it and tap it in, and then it'll make it look like a real bucked rivet.
You're gonna what, Robert?
What are those things called?
I don't.
So the air system's holding air pretty good. Looks like we're losing about 1 psi about every 2 minutes or so. He needed to hook up his power inverter, and he didn't have the right battery terminals, so he used C-clamps. I mean, you could at least put electrical tape on the end of them. I think a hose clamp would have been better. Well, we went to a junkyard trying to find a lid for that, and we can't. And that's clean air goes through the bottom of that there, so we can't have it open. But we bought this, and that fits exactly on there. So we're gonna duct tape that on there, and we should be able to get it home. Sometimes you got to get
No,
creative.
you can't. No, you can't. Look, this guy said he's a certified airplane mechanic. Look at this rig job he's doing out here.
Hey, it's home with clean air is what's happening.
Yeah.
So we're RTVing around the seal. Yep, that's on there.
Who's gonna do the backside?
Your fingers. Got it. He's got more room back here.
So first is up here. Second, I gotta skip reverse, right? Third's gonna be straight up, right?
Yep. I get one a little faster though. Or is that as fast as it could go? You up on the governor? There you go.
Who's third? Gosh, that's a lot of drama.
I
think I missed it.
No, you didn't.
Oh no, I just gotta go that far down. Oh
Yeah.
my god. I can start off pretty easily.
brakes feel? When you
Brakes stop you fast.
Okay. They look like it when I saw you hit them.
So that's 4. That's 5. So that was still pretty low.
Yeah. I'd stay in this gear for a little bit. Get it wound out a little bit.
This is what we want.
Oh. So we made it about a quarter mile?
Quarter mile.
You don't think it's a quarter mile?
No.
Eighth of a mile?
Shifting, baby.
He was shifting good. We're having a fuel starvation problem. And he said he thought he had a problem with that, so he had an electronic boost pump that he had in here. We're going to hook that back up and see if that solves our problem for right now. The whole time we had it running at the house and everything, we had no issue with fuel starvation, so we'll go from there. But yeah, we didn't make it very far. His house is to the right of that street and then a block to the left. I think we're a quarter mile. Yeah. Was that hard to start out in fourth then, or no?
I'm going all the way over there. Should I skip 6?
Yeah. Take it easy on the hill.
Let's just run on 8 for a while.
Yeah.
I'll get better hope.
We pulled over again for that same fuel starvation issue where the fuel pump that they added on here, the lines were kinked on it. So we're hoping by kind of cutting them and moving them a little differently, we can get more fuel flow going through. So we broke the oil filter wrench to change the fuel filter. So then they had the bright idea of using Sean's belt. His belt broke. So now he got nothing to hold his pants up, and he really needs something to hold his pants up. So they duct taped his belt back together.
Get a good video of him buckling it.
That's not the belt buckle.
That's not the buckle.
Spin it off. Full on committed now. You're just gonna tear it up like that.
I thought the impact might help a little.
Go all the way through the other side.
Yeah.
Let me go high with it. One thing wasn't really doing squat.
Huh?
You're good. Yeah, it's done. Don't cut yourself.
You mean again?
We're eliminating a suction issue on the fuel line by running a new fuel line back to the fuel filters. That's probably pretty good. Working on getting headlights. So I'm wiring in a new temperature gauge. Our temperature gauge didn't work. Our oil pressure gauge does work, but our temperature gauge was not working. We never had it warm enough at the house running to know if it was working or not. Didn't want to drive without one. Out too much, it kind of is over where it should be. Still having some fuel problems, so we've replaced the pickup tube. We just threw a fuel hose, a fuel line down the tank, eliminating the pickup tube as being the problem for sucking air. So he's going to try and do some hot laps here in the parking lot at a high RPM under a load. Let's see what happens. It was just falling on its face, losing prime. And then we blew an airline. It sounds like it has something to do with the brakes. We didn't lose air pressure, but we could sure hear the leak. We're going to figure out what's going on. So we made it to a Walmart for a little bit. We had one more little breakdown tonight. All of a sudden there's this massive air leak coming out from under the driver's feet, underneath. And so we pulled off. Brakes were fine. We weren't losing air pressure. It was maintaining air, but we could hear it really loud. So we pulled off, set the parking brake, got out to investigate it. It's a little diaphragm up under there. It has something to do with the parking brake release, because when we went to release the parking brake, the brakes wouldn't release. There was plenty of air pressure, but when you go to hit the release, it would just have this really loud air noise. So we took the little thing apart. There's a diaphragm in there, had a hole in the diaphragm. We put Gorilla Tape over the diaphragm and then put it back together and sealed the leak. It's just the parking brake release valve, some kind of a relay or something for that. I've never seen it before. It must be something. It's not just on an Eagle. On an Eagle, you have to tap the foot brake after you release the parking brake release. It has something to do with that. So, but anyways, we fixed the hole in the diaphragm and it's fine. It's not leaking any air. It actually completely sealed it up. That Gorilla Tape's real thick stuff. So we bought a device that we're going to make a sort of a cruise control for him. It's a little hard to hold. We had to put a larger throttle return spring on here, so it's a little hard for him to hold the pedal down. So we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna hit the road again. And it's about midnight right now.
That's some good window cleaning.
Cleaning the windows.
Yeah.
No, they can't hear you.
This cruise control.
Put your awning out of the truck stop. It's up against this truck. That's crazy. Man, look at that. Fire right up. We slept on air mattresses at the bus last night. And it's very cold this morning. And this started this truck a couple minutes ago and woke us all up. There he is. I showed that, but that's the shift pattern, and he's not very good at shifting at night when you can't see that. God, it's so loud in here. It's only like 14, 15 hours of loud. I'm chilling on an air mattress. Okay, we just got back. I got cleaned up. It was kind of a rough trip. We had, I think, 6 times we were on the side of the road with that thing, mostly for that fuel starvation issue and then that one diaphragm that blew out. The first 30 miles took us almost 9 hours. That's how many issues that we were having. I didn't want to drive it without a working coolant temperature gauge, and running it at the house, we never got it warm enough over 100 degrees to know if the gauge was working or not. As soon as we realized it wasn't, we took one with us in case it wasn't. I like to take a oil pressure gauge and a temperature gauge just in case. I know in the video I gave Sean a little bit of crap about driving that 10-speed, but he really did a wonderful job doing it. Number one, he has no working tachometer in there, and there's no working speedometer in there. And to be able to pick which gear, when to go, and even downshifting, not knowing what exact speed you're going and engine RPM, it's very, very hard. Plus throw that into having the reverse pattern on there. It was so funny the first time when it was dark and he went to shift and it wasn't there and he couldn't do it. I thought that was hilarious. He's like, I can't see the chart. But we had fun. That was 3 days from the time we left to the time we got back. Within 3 days and 2 hours, I think it was, and there was 1,600 miles of driving involved in all that. So it was a long trip. We're kind of sleep deprived, but we made it back and we had a lot of fun, and it's gonna be a real good bus for him in the future. There's a couple issues with the governor on it. He needs some parts for it and things like that, but I knew we'd get it home. Obviously that air filter end cover, I told him that was just a temporary one-time trip with that, and we're gonna get the right part on there for that. But everything did real well, and it was fun, and I am going to sleep. Thank you.